Ang salita ng Diyos mula sa Kawikaan, Kapitulo 3, versikulo 5-6. Tumiwala ka sa Panginoon ng buong puso mo at huwag kang manalig sa iyong sariling kaunawaan. Kilalanin mo siya sa lahat ng iyong mga lakad at kanyang ituturo ang iyong mga landas.
Batas laban sa panggagahasa. Ang mga detalye. Alamin!
Para ipaliwanag ang kasagutan sa ating tanong, naririto na po ang ating abang lingkod, ang ating Justice Buddy, Attorney Jeffrey Bahita.
Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Gusto na kayo mga buddies sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao at sa lahat ng panig ng Pilipinas at ng buong mundo. Ngayon nga ay pag-uusapan natin ang inaabangan ng maraming tao dahil napaka-controversial and at the same time kapaki-pakinabang ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong gabi, ang inyong paboritong talakayin. Kaya huwag na tayo magpatumpik-tumpik pa. I-share na natin mga kabadis sa iba't ibang platform para makita rin ang ating mga kaibigan, mga kapamilya, at ganun na rin ang mga chismosang kapitbahay. What? Pero bago tayo magpasimula, meron muna tayong paalala mga buddies.
Kung bago ka sa channel na ito, huwag kalimutang pindutin ang like, subscribe button, at notification bell para otomatiko kang maa-update sa mga latest videos na tiyak na makakatulong sa iyo.
At ngayon nga, i-welcome na natin ang ating panauhing pandangal. Siya ay isang solo practitioner sa kanyang sariling law office. Walang iba, ang ating kaibigan at kaklase, si Attorney Baby Perian R. Arcega. Hello, Attorney Baby. Kumusta ka?
Okay naman. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Maligayang lockdown sa atin.
Oo. Maraming nag-aabang netong ating palabas ngayong gabi kasi nga napaka-controversial ng ating topic. Pero bago tayo magpasimula sa mga iba't ibang paksa, baka meron kang gustong batiin or i-shoutout na mga kaibigan, mga fans at mga kaklase. Nasa iyo ang pagkakataon, Attorney Baby.
Hello sa aking mga sis sa Lambda Rho Sigma, GP Rice, sa aking friend si Marlon. Yung mga nagsabi na i-shoutout ko daw sila, mga weird friends. Hello sa ating lahat, yun lang.
Ayan ha. Kaya mga buddies, kung meron kayong katanungan na patungkol sa ating paksa, bukas ang ating linya. I-type nyo lang sa ating comment section para yan ay sasagutin mamaya ng buong buo ni Attorney Baby Perian Arcega. Pero bago ang lahat, puntahan muna natin ang pinaka sabihin natin ay basic na tanong. Unahin natin to. 'Di ba ang ating paksa ay tungkol sa rape or panggagahasa? Kailan at paano ba nagagawa ang nasabing krimen sa ilalim ng ating umiiral na batas?
Okay. So, bago ko sagutin yan, yung ano ba yung umiiral na batas? So, meron tayong tinatawag na anti-rape law. Yan ay special law na nag-amend sa ating sa provision on rape sa ating revised penal code. So that's RA or Republic Act 8353. So ang una mong tanong ay paano nakukommit ang rape? How is rape committed? So ngayon sa anti-rape law, dalawa yung ways to commit that. Una, yung the traditional sense, rape in its traditional sense, and yung isa, I don't know how you call it, maybe the non-traditional sense. Pero yung first is rape as we know it, yung committed by force, intimidation, threat, tapos kapag yung tao ay nagkaroon ka ng sexual intercourse with a person who has no consciousness, or deprived of consciousness, tapos having sexual intercourse with someone below 12 years old, at yung isa ay by fraudulent machinations or grave abuse of authority. So that's the traditional sense. It's under Article 266A, paragraph 1. Ngayon, yung non-traditional sense of rape, ito yung bago dun sa ating anti-rape law. Wala ito before in our revised penal code. This is the rape by sexual assault. So ito, because of this new development, rape can be committed against a person of any gender. So babae ka, hindi na totoo yung yung rape is only committed against women. Hindi na ano na to gender-free crime, meaning even men can be raped under this is under 266A paragraph 2. So how is rape committed in the non-traditional sense? Gagamitin ko okay, basahin ko muna yung doon sa provision, then explain ko in a more layman's term, no? So, any person under any circumstances na nabanggit kanina by force, intimidation, and others, no? Commit any act of sexual assault by inserting his penis into another person's mouth or anal orifice, or any instrument or object into the genital or anal orifice of another person. So, in layman's term, para mas magets ninyo, there's rape when someone commits oral sex sa isang tao, or pag finorce niyang isang tao na to do oral sex sa kanya. Yung isa naman is anal sex. I'm sorry kung medyo below the belt yung mga terms, no? Pero that's how you can understand it. Bakit siya pwede sa mga lalaki? Because kapag pinasa mo yung lalaki na commit oral sex or anal sex, that's also rape. And the other one is kahit na kahit na hindi mo ginamit yung any part of your body to violate someone, but you use an instrument. Kahit anong instrument, hindi kailangan instrument for that purpose, no? Basta kahit anong instrument, ilagay mo sa doon sa mga orifice ng isang tao, like sa kanyang private part or sa kanyang anus, that's also rape. So you can imagine that a person who is gay can rape someone, and a man can also rape a man who is gay. So hindi na siya gender sensitive kind of rape.
Ayan. So, sa madaling sabi, meron tayong dalawang paraan para magawa yung rape, no? Yung una, ang pinaka-salarin ay yung lalaki laban sa babae. Yun yung traditional rape na tinatalakay mo kanina.
Yes.
At yung isa naman, yung rape na sinasabi mong non-traditional, laban sa kahit na sinong tao. Tama, no?
Yes.
Okay, eto, may tanong dito si Buddy Fidel Ju Cortez. Ang sabi niya, Attorney, pwede po bang makasuhan at makonvict ang isang babae ng rape through sexual intercourse ng isang lalaki na ginahasa niya? Aba, so dito, ang sinasabi niya, ang salarin ay babae at ang biktima ay lalaki. Tapos, may sexual intercourse na nangyari. So, pwede ba yon, Attorney Baby?
Yes, pwede pa rin yan sa under 266A paragraph 2. That's the non-traditional kind of rape. Kasi any type of violation, kung i-dissect mo yung provision, no, basta violate mo yung private part ng isang tao, or his or her orifice, like anus or vagina for a woman, pwede pa din. So yes, ang tanong, kung ang tanong mo is pwede bang maging offender ang babae at yung offended person ay lalaki? Yes, it can be classified as rape by sexual assault. That's the term for it, which is the non-traditional rape under Article 266-A paragraph 2.
Pagka rape by sexual assault, pwede. Pero pagka rape by sexual intercourse, kasi yan yung tanong niya eh. Rape by sexual intercourse, posible ba yon, Attorney Baby?
You mean if it will fall under the traditional type of rape? No. Dahil the provision is clear under paragraph 1, it is a crime committed by a man against a woman. So that's a good question actually, kasi merong malaking difference between the traditional type of rape and the non-traditional type of rape. In the sense na ang penalty ng non-traditional type is prisión mayor unless attended by other circumstances, which is a period of 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, while the traditional type of rape is reclusion perpetua or up to 40 or 40 years of imprisonment. That's a good question.
Ayan, okay ha. So malinaw yan, Buddy Fidel ha. Kapag yung tinatanong mo ay rape by sexual intercourse, sabi nga ni Attorney Baby sa ilalim ng Artikulo 266-A ng ating Kodigo Penal, ikalawang libro, ang salarin ay lalaki lamang laban sa biktimang babae. Kaya sa madaling sabi, hindi posible yung rape by sexual intercourse na ang babae ang salarin at ang lalaki ang biktima. Pwede yan dun sa rape by sexual assault. Okay malinaw yan. Napakagandang buena mano para sa ating gabi na pagpapalabas patungkol dito sa paksang to. Ito, puntahan natin yung pangalawang paksa, Attorney Baby.
Okay.
Ang sabi dito, what are the instances of rape under Article 266-B of the Revised Penal Code? Pero bago mo sagutin yan, meron muna tayong patalasta. AIM-SMART. 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 Your review authority. AIM-SMART. AIM-SMART. Your review authority. AIM-SMART. Your review authority. AIM-SMART. Your review authority. AIM-SMART. Your review authority. Ayan, nagbabalik tayo, Attorney Baby. Pero bago ang lahat, meron ditong pagbati si Buddy Regina Rosari. Ang sabi niya, good eve po, Attorney Jeff and Attorney Arcega. Thank you po at marami kaming viewers na natututunan sa inyo po. God bless po. Ayan.
Hi, Ma'am Regina.
Okay, ganun din. Ito, may pagbati si Buddy Raisa. Ang sabi niya, ang ganda naman ni Attorney Arcega, Filipino beauty.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so balikan natin yung ating nabingbing tanong, Attorney Baby. Ang sabi dito, what are the instances of rape under Article 266-B of the Revised Penal Code?
Okay, I'm not sure. 266-B is about the penalties.
Yes.
Okay, so yung sa penalties, so nabanggit natin kanina may one major difference between the traditional type of rape and the non-traditional type of rape is the penalty. So yung traditional reclusion perpetua yan, yung sa non-traditional that's prisión mayor which is 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. Ngayon dito sa 266B, meron dyang mga instances na tinataas pa niya lalo yung penalty na pwedeng harapin ng taong akusado ng rape. Although yung dun sa penalty ng traditional type, which is reclusion perpetua, pwede niyang pataasin yan, which is the next, a capital punishment of death. But it's not applicable at the moment. Death penalty is not applicable in our jurisdiction or in our country at the moment. So hanggang dun lang talaga, reclusion perpetua. Pero yung doon naman sa non-traditional type of rape, pag meron tong mga circumstances na to, na babanggitin natin maya-maya in passing, no? Yung prisión mayor would be increased to the next degree of penalty, which is reclusion temporal. And reclusion temporal is 12 years and 1 day to 20 years of imprisonment. So ano to mga instances that can increase the penalty? Kapag yung rape ay ginamitan mo ng deadly weapon, ibig sabihin, ng rape ka na nga, tinutukan mo pa ng baril o ng kutsilyo o kung ano. Another is, pag yung ni-rape mo na tao has become insane or nabaliw dahil sa ginawa mo sa kanya. Kapag nang attempt ka mag-rape pero hindi natuloy, pero the act of attempting to rape someone caused the death of that person. So ito yung attempted rape that led to homicide. So that's another. Yung isa naman kapag yung ni-rape mo is rape with homicide. So that's a complex crime na ni-rape mo tapos pinatay mo. So you will increase yung penalty mo doon. So the other in passing lang no kasi medyo mahaba to. May 10 we call it aggravated or qualifying circumstances when these circumstances will increase the penalty. So kapag yung victim is 18 years of age and the offender is a parent, ascendant, yung basta dun sa alam natin na part ng family. Pag ni-rape ka, that's one of the gravest and most hurtful type of betrayal. Kasi pamilya mo yan eh. You're supposed to be safe under your roof, in the company of the people that you share your bloodline with, tapos ginawa sa'yo yun. That's a qualifying or aggravating circumstance. Yung iba naman, kapag pag ni-rape ka, tapos pinapanood pa sa parents mo, sa mga kamag-anak mo, that's another aggravating circumstance. Pag below 7 years old yung ni-rape, that's death penalty kung merong death penalty sa atin at the moment. Kapag yung offender has AIDS at nang-rape siya, imagine, ni-rape mo na nga tapos mahawaan mo pa. Diba? Parang kung pwede lang may death penalty, diba? Patayin natin. I'm kidding. Tapos, kapag yung victim has suffered mutilation, may pinutulan mo ng kung ano or something like that. And kapag alam nung offender na pregnant yung babae at ni-rape pa din niya, that's another aggravating circumstance. So there are a lot of these circumstances, 10 lahat aggravating and qualifying circumstances. But bottom line is, rape in itself is, evil, is bad, it's a crime. Pero pag meron pa tong mga additional circumstances na parang sa isang normal na tao, ay talagang parang unthinkable, unfathomable, or parang it's beyond normal, parang pag siraulo na yung gagawa nun. That's malamang pasok yan doon sa aggravating or qualifying circumstance that will increase the penalty to 1 degree higher. So in case of rape by sexual assault, that can cause the penalty to reach 20 years. In case of traditional rape, up to death penalty if that is applicable.
Yeah. Ayan, naalala ko tuloy yung isang yung teleserye ng Ang Probinsyano.
Okay. Hindi ko alam pero
kung nanonood ka noon kasi nabanggit mo yung mutilation. Na kung saan pagka tapos ma-rape pinutulan niya ng kamay si Doktora Audrey, kung napanood mo yon.
Hindi ko siya nasusundan, pero okay.
Ayun. So, si Senyor Vera, yung isa sa mga kontrabida doon, pagkatapos niyang rapein si Doktora Audrey, pinutol niya yung kamay. So, that is mutilation.
That's mutilation,
Kaya, yun yung isang... Kaya, hindi mo na panood yun, Attorney Baby.
Hindi pero siguro simulan ko na manood ng Ang Probinsyano para sa'yo.
Marami tayong matututunan dyan mga senaryo Ito, may mga pagbati pala dito. Halimbawa, si Buddy Ronel Lopez. Sabi niya, good evening po, Attorney Jeff and Attorney Arcega. God bless po always. Ito, mukhang kakilala mo to, Attorney Baby. Siguro ikaw na bumasa.
Okay. Good evening, Attorney Jeff. Good evening, Attorney Arcega. I'm an HS batch 2001. So proud of you. Most likely schoolmate ko siya. No? Hello.
Schoolmate, no? Sa MNHS. Ano ba yung MNHS?
Mangaldan National High School.
Okay. Saan nga located ang eskwelahan?
Parang yung name niya, binago yung ano. Kaya di ko
Ano yan? Nivram eh. So Marvin yan. Siguro binaliktad niya.
Oh,
Marvin.
okay. Yeah, mga
Oo.
ganda is in Pangasinan. Laking
Okay.
Pangasinan ako. Diyan ako
Pangasinense
hanggang high
pala.
school, yes.
All right. Okay. Ito, sabi pa ni Buddy Janelle Landicho. Galing po ni Attorney Baby mag-explain. Thank you po.
Thank you, Janelle.
Ito rin, nag-chat din yung mama ko. Sabi niya, "Hi, good evening. Ang sexy naman ng boses ni Attorney Baby."
Oh! Pwede na ba pang radyo?
Pwede na pang radyo,
Thank you
ha?
po,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. So, ngayon, puntahan natin yung pangatlong paksa natin, Attorney Baby.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as marital rape? Ano ba yung marital rape para sa
Okay.
kabatiran ng ating mga taga-subaybay?
Okay. Marital rape, the phrase marital rape is not actually in the law, no? Hindi siya talaga a phrase that is properly defined. But as the word itself, entails, it's rape in between a married couple. So itong marital rape, it's just like it's rape. Ang difference lang niya is parang may emphasis lang on marital rape because when two people are married, expect mo na kasama yung obligation nila to be intimate with each other. Sa mga married people, me not included. So that's the notion, no. When you're married, merong obligasyon yung asawa mo na ibigay sa'yo yung mga sexual needs mo. But you have to understand that rape is rape in whatever circumstances the victim and the offender is. So yung circumstance na you are a married couple does not really count when you force yourself to someone. So kahit na asawa mo yan, kahit na ka-live-in mo yan, that person has to give her consent bago kayo magsiping, magkaroon ng sexual intercourse. So if you force yourself to your wife, sabihin natin na ayaw ng wife mo na makipagtalik nung gabi yon, tapos pinilit mo siya, pinersa mo siya, you pinned her on the bed, on the ground, tapos you force her to have sexual intercourse with you. That's still rape. Kaya lang tayo din nagkakaroon ng specific classification for rape in this sense, marital rape, is because in RA 8353, the anti-rape law, merong special provision on that about pardon. So I guess we'll have another topic for that later or ngayon na natin i-discuss yan.
Sige lang, okay lang.
Okay, so kaya merong nabanggit na marital rape kasi under 266 article 266-C meron yung pardon kapag pinatawad ng asawa ang kanyang asawa for raping her or for raping her, then that could be a reason for the criminal action to be dismissed or ang penalty ay mawala. So yun lang yung special case doon na pwedeng patawarin ng asawa yung asawa niya kapag nagkaroon ng marital rape. But again, rape is still rape.
So ibig sabihin, Attorney Baby, kahit mag-asawa, hindi nangangahulugan na pwede nang rapein or ipilit yung pakikipagtalik.
Yes. Remember, the Supreme Court always the courts or us as people, as human beings, we are individuals. We are seen as individuals. Kahit na kasal ka na, your body is yours. Your liberty is yours. You have the right to say no, even to your spouse about things that will be done to your body. So you do not really surrender your body to your spouse. Or you do not parang hindi yan parang forever consent na hindi mo pwedeng bawiin when it comes to sexual intercourse. Dahil marami na may ibang circumstance, maraming ibang reason for a person who a married person to say no to sex. Maraming maraming pwedeng dahilan, di ba? I mean, I can imagine na wala sa mood yung babae or nag-aaway sila or yung lalaki ay masama sa kanya tapos pipilitin siya. Being married to someone does not give the other person the right to violate the body of that person.
Ayan. So hindi pala pwede sabihin na nagpakasal ka sa akin, kaya obligasyon mo yan.
Hindi. Although may din sa about obligations, may marital obligation that's covered by the family code, and a person who does not really who refuses to comply with her marital obligations, may mga consequences yan, but it does not involve forced sexual intercourse.
Okay, ayan ha. E di lalo na, Attorney Baby, pagdating dun sa mag-boyfriend and girlfriend lamang.
Yes, that's actually papasok siguro balikan natin yung rape the how to commit rape, no. Doon sa there's rape when the offended party is deprived of reason or otherwise unconscious. Yan kasi yung meron akong I've handled several rape cases, no. So yung iba tapos na, yung iba ongoing. Pero merong sa mga experience ko sa rape cases and also those that I've observed in other cases, madalas yan na mag-ex, mag-MU, or yung
Ano ba yung MU, Attorney Arcega? Yan ba yung magulong usapan?
yun yung mag-un.
Ano yan? Pakiulit?
Mag-un.
Mag-un.
Na sabi nila mutual understanding. So
Okay.
may mga ganyang instances when dati naging silang intimate or mag-ex sila, so dati silang intimate, you know. By intimate, I mean dati sila nagkaroon ng sexual relation. And then yung nagkaroon ng time na yung babae tulog or yung babae lasing, and then the ex-boyfriend or the ex, someone, ex na kung anong mga understanding, takes advantage of that. So, under the premise na okay lang dahil ginawa na namin before, ginagawa namin to before. So, it's not like that. Remember that sexual intercourse, although hindi naman required ng law na may yes, let's do it, or yes, it's okay. There has to be proof on your part na halimbawa ako yung lalaki. Kailangan alam ko, malinaw sa akin na okay sa babae, na pumapayag yung babae. So, halimbawa nagiinuman, maraming ganito eh. Actually, I personally know people who were victims of this type of rape na nakipag-inuman, tapos na nawala ng malay, tapos they take advantage under the premise na nakipag-inuman naman siya. And kanina naman medyo loose siya, kanina naman nakiki-flirt siya. Ganon. It is iba when you take advantage of that person who is unconscious or who might be unconscious because of intoxication, that's rape. So kahit na nagkaroon kayo ng relasyon before, kahit na nagkaroon kayo ng understanding before, kahit na in one case that I've handled, yung babae ay patay na patay dun sa lalaki. Hinahabol-habol niya talaga. Tapos, nung nagkaroon ng chance, nag-iinuman sila, yung lalaki took advantage. Tapos, ang defense ng lalaki ay, siya nga yung habol na habol sa akin before eh. So no, walang kahit anong action ng babae prior to rape would justify you raping the person. So dyan din, I also want to take this opportunity to talk about a little bit about victim shaming. May nakausap ako talking to someone about this topic before. Ang unang tanong, ano bang suot niya? Tapos, pangalawang tanong, bakit kasi siya nakipag-inuman? So, these things, I understand, no? If you're just being candid, like nakipag-usap, kaibigan ko naman yun. So, okay lang. Pero if this becomes a culture of victim shaming, that's not right. That's actually very wrong. Kasi yan yung mga dahilan kung ba't nadideter or napipigilan yung mga tao na na-victimize, the victims of rape, from going forward and seeking justice for themselves. Yung sinasabi nila na bakit kasi siya nakipag-inuman in the first place? Bakit kasi ganun yung suot niya? These are indiscretion on the part of the victim. Pumunta siya doon knowing that there's risk, or knowing na baka tinitempt niya or dinadala niya yung sarili niya sa sitwasyon that she could be a victim of rape or she can be raped. But that's her own lookout. She has to face the consequences. But it cannot be a reason or a defense by the rapist. So hindi porket I think lust in that sense is very barbaric. Yung dahil parang nagandahan ka, you find the girl attractive at tapos lasing siya, tapos hindi mo na napigilan yung sarili mo. That's walang lugar yan sa isang civilized society. And for us to blame the victim, that's just uncalled for and that's just unfair.
May narinig ako sa aking chismosang kapitbahay nung isang araw. Ang sabi niya, pag may balak or pag may alak, may balak daw.
Yeah.
Totoo ba yun, Atty. Baby?
Sa kapitbahay ko Ngayon lang. Yeah, so para sa mga babae, talagang you have to be cautious about that, na kapag dinala mo yung sarili mo sa sitwasyon na yon, baka naman din talaga may okay lang din naman sa'yo. Pero siguro the difference between yung nag-agree ka dun sa balak dahil may alak and rape is when the woman or the person is already unconscious or hindi ka na sure kung meron pa siyang intelligence or consciousness enough para mag-say no, wag na. Just stop. Kasi pag mamaya ma-realize niya na violate siya, tapos ikaw hindi ka sure, kala ko okay ka pa kasi then you'll have to face trial, and that's a totally different problem altogether. Non-bailable ang rape under the traditions.
Non-bailable ba? Malupit. Ito, baka kilala mo yata to, Atty. Baby.
Yeah, that's my cousin. Hi, Kuya Arnold. From Lipa.
From Lipa. Okay, ayos. Sige, ito, punta tayo sa mga tanong ng ating mga taga-subaybay. Ito si Buddy JP Asia. JP Asia, kumusta ka na? Madalas to si JP Asia na nanonood sa atin Ang sabi niya, Atty. Baby, good evening po sa ating mga kagalang-galang na mga abogado. Tanong ko lang po kung may statutory rape ay parehas ng penalty sa traditional or non-traditional rape? Atty. Baby?
Yeah, okay. So yung statutory rape, when rape is committed against a person who is 12 years and who is under 12 years old, yan yung one of the 4 ways on how to commit rape. So kung dun siya sa traditional sense, ang penalty niya is the penalty under yung traditional sense, which is reclusion perpetua. Pero kung doon siya papasok sa rape by sexual assault under second paragraph, then yung penalty niya pa din ay pasok doon sa penalty for the second type, which is prison mayor. Ayan. Pero kung below 7, that rape by sexual assault and the victim is below 7 years old, then aakyat yung penalty to reclusion temporal. So to answer a yes or no question yan, hindi parehas. Hindi pa rin parehas.
Okay, ayan. Ito, may isa pang tanong. Ito, medyo mahaba. Ang sabi niya, baka po pwede po bigyan nyo ko ng example po nito. Rape is committed by a man who shall have carnal knowledge of a woman by means of fraudulent machination. Article 266-A 1C. May actual case na po ba na dinesisyonan ang Supreme Court na mag-squarely fall po sa tanong ko. Maraming salamat po, Idol. Mukhang barista to or nag-aaral po ng abogasya, Attorney Baby ah.
Bakit hindi ko magsabi sa amin, Fidel?
Oo nga. So Buddy Fidel, sasagutin ni Attorney Baby yan. Makalipas labang ang ating patalastas.
Aim smart. Aim smart. Aim smart. Aim smart. Your review authority. Aim smart. Aim smart. Your review authority. Aim smart.
Balik tayo, Attorney Baby.
Hi. Yeah.
Ayan. So, yung tinatanong ni Buddy Fidel ay tungkol sa rape by sexual intercourse by means of fraudulent machination. Pwede mo bang ipaliwanag sa mas maiintindihan ng ating mga taga-subaybay kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng fraudulent machination?
Okay, I have to be honest. No, I haven't encountered a case falling under this type of this manner of rape. I can only siguro surmise na this kapag ano to, dalawa to, fraudulent machinations or abuse of authority, tama ba? O yun. So I think ito yung medyo nagkakakiskisa ng definition sa ating sexual harassment law. Because sexual harassment law is also based on abuse of authority. Nandun naka-premise yon, yung law na yon. But as to fraudulent machinations, I think when you trick someone into kasi fraudulent, it's like method of defrauding someone into having sexual intercourse with you. So wala akong alam na actual case on this, pero siguro if you trick someone into having sexual intercourse with you in however manner, like sabihin natin na yung akala mo asawa mo. Kasi may ganong case, I'm not sure if you remember that, pero hindi din siya, it was not really rape by this method, pero yung nagpanggap siya na asawa, tapos madilim, tapos akala niya asawa niya, tapos they had sexual intercourse only to find out later na hindi pala. So I think that's a good example of that. Although again, hindi pa ako nakabasa ng Supreme Court decision defining clearly what this method of rape is.
Okay.
Ikaw,
so
attorney, baka nakabasa
yung sinasabi mong parang nagpanggap na asawa. Halimbawa, kapag kambal, kamuka, 'di ba?
Pwede.
Oo,
Pwede.
katulad nga dun sa ang probinsyano, si Cardo at si Ador.
Attorney, parang lahat ng reference mo dahil dyan sa ang probinsyano, Mapanood nga yan.
Kasi yan ang pinapanood ng ating mga taga-subaybay ang probinsyano.
Oh. Okay. O, anong nasa ang probinsyano?
Yun nga, kambal kasi si Cardo at si Ador. Kaya nung una nagpanggap si Cardo at na siya si Ador para nga malaman nila kung sino yung pumatay. Talagang nagkwento ng tungkol dun, no?
Alam mo, napanood ko yung movie ni Fernando Poe Jr. Yan nga yun. I remember. Napatay yung pulis na kapatid niya. Pulis din, di ba? So yung pala yun. Series pala yan based on that. Okay.
Yes. Actually, 5 taon na nga yun ngayon eh.
Okay.
Konti na lang, matatalo na yung Mara Clara.
Napanood ka din yan nung bata ako.
Yeah, mga panahon natin yan eh, Attorney Baby.
Yes.
Okay. Ito, meron ditong suggested answer si Buddy Michael Frederick Alzana. Pwede mong pakibasa, Attorney Baby?
Okay, wala yung salamin ko, pero sige. A prostitute who was led to believe that she will be paid 5,000 pesos before entering a motel, and after the sexual congress, she was paid only 2,000. That's rape by means of fraudulent machination. Okay, is it? I wonder if that's an actual case. Maybe.
Mhm. Pero yan yung sagot ni Buddy Michael dun sa posibleng halimbawa na tinatanong ni Buddy Fidel. Ayan. So may may panluloko kasi ang sabi dito, ang usapan nila ng proste ay 5K. Pero pagkatapos ng kanilang kontrata, binigyan lang ng 2K. Kawawa naman yung proste.
Okay, siguro ibang usapan kung Supreme Court decision yan, no? Pero parang I don't agree with that. Kasi parang hindi. Pwede siyang
Okay.
pumasok sa yung law against prostitution. Pero, well, I don't know. Maybe. Thank you,
Alright.
Mr. Alzona.
Thank you for the input, Buddy Michael. So, puntahan natin yung isa pang tanong. Ito naman kay Buddy J. Aren. Good evening po. Paano po kung ang biktima ng rape ay menor de edad? Ano pong batas ang mag-go-govern? Pasok po ba yon sa child abuse? Attorney Baby?
Yeah, it's not a question of what law or which law will govern kasi pwedeng sabay-sabay yan. These are different special penal laws. There's a single act can be a subject of different special penal laws. So that's the anti-child abuse. Pwede pumasok sa element. Pwede rin pumasok yan sa RA 9262 kung anak niya or kung anak ng kinakasama niya. At pwede rin sa anti-rape law. So
kung sa madaling sabi, pwede kahit saan doon. Basta pasok ang elemento.
pwede.
Hindi naman
Mhm.
Yes, Attorney Baby, please.
Ayun. So hindi siya you don't have to choose. Pwede mo siyang file ng lahat nun, either or and. So pwedeng isa lang, pwedeng lahat basta pasok sa elemento.
Ayan. Okay malinaw yan, Buddy J Ito tuloy ang sabi ni Buddy Gigi Saldivia. I feel safe if si Attorney Baby ang counsel ko. Opo.
Ganda naman ni Gigi.
Oo nga. Ayan yung profile picture niya. Okay Okay. Ito pa sabi ni Buddy Gigi Attorney Baby is #goals. Aba, mukhang meron ka ng presidente ng fans club dito, Attorney Baby
Okay, tingnan muna natin kung anong goals yan. Mga bad goals yan. Thank you.
Ayan.
Thank you.
Ito pa, may tanong pa dito si Buddy RJ Kabubas naman. Ang sabi niya, may exceptional circumstances din po ba sa rape, attorney?
Exceptional circumstances. And under the anti-rape law, there are aggravating and qualifying circumstances. So yun yung meron doon. Hindi kasi tayo pwedeng magdagdag ng mga circumstances either mapababa or mapataas nang wala dun sa special law. Ano ba example na? Ayun. So I guess since RA 8353 is an amendment to the rape provision under the revised penal code. So kung ano man yung mga other circumstances applicable in the revised penal code can also be applied there kasi though it is a special penal law, it is an amendment to a provision of the revised penal code. In fact, kasama in-incorporate na ang anti-rape law sa revised penal code. So whatever circumstances are included in the revised penal code under article 10, 11, 12, if I'm not mistaken, then it can be applied there, in my opinion.
Alright, yan malinaw yung sagot ni Attorney Baby patungkol dyan. Ito, Attorney Baby, may tanong si Buddy Raisa. Ang sabi niya, Attorney, question po, is act of rape counted by the number of times it was committed or isang case lang kahit ilang beses nangyari sa isang gabi?
Okay, that's a very good question. Every act is one count. Yan ang napag-aralan natin, I guess, law school. Kasi in practice naman kasi, usually, ang one act o yung buong, like for example na rape ka, ganun, like isang count lang yun unless may ibang dates na may iba pang instance of rape. Pero in theory, as what in books, in theory, actually every kung the traditional sense, every penetration is one count in theory. If I do you agree, attorney?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Attorney Baby. Yan yung napag-aralan natin sa law school.
Yes.
Ito, sa mga libro dito.
Oo. Oo. Although kasi syempre when you get out of law school, minsan nawawala yung textbook knowledge but napapalitan siya ng mga maraming other inputs in practice in real life. So yung I'm sure dun sa mga rape cases na narinig natin or na na-decidean, hindi na describe ng victim how many penetrations, because if you're being raped, bibilangin mo ba yan? Mabibilang mo ba yan? You're being traumatized by that very, the act of rape. Tas hindi mo na mabilang yung penetration. But ayun, so in theory, every penetration in the traditional sense or yung doon sa rape by sexual assault, it is one count of rape. And siguro we must stress na ang penetration in the traditional sense is not actually inserting only of the penis into the vagina of the female. The mere I'm sure you know you ano to, paulit-ulit sa atin to when we were studying. The mere act of touching the labia, correct? The labia or labia majora, labia minora of the female is also already rape. So, kung halimbawa yung this is the private part of the woman or the female, kahit i-touch mo lang yung penis dyan, that's already rape. Hindi mo kailangan ipasok all the way. So,
tama.
So para lang do sa mga tao na iniisip na okay lang, hindi ko naman that baka you're mistaken if you're thinking that you have to penetrate the woman for it to be classified as rape.
At saka isa pa nga sa mga paborito sa ating mga kaso na binasa dati, kung natatandaan natin yung phrase na it is the bombardment of the drawbridge.
Justice body speaks volume.
Yan, medyo may pagka-literary yung pagkakasulat ng justice no? It is the bombardment of the drawbridge. May ganun-ganun pa silang nalalaman
Yung mga natatandaan mo, attorney, ha?
Oo, kasi nga pagka nung nag-aaral tayo ng tungkol dyan talagang buhay na buhay ang bawat diwa ng lahat ng law students.
Yeah, I guess I agree.
Kumpara sa mga ibang batas na inaral natin na nakakaantok
What? Oh my, commercial law, tax law.
Ayan. Okay, ito may tanong pa dito Si Buddy Angelo Flores Andaya. Ito suki natin to, Buddy Attorney Baby. Ang sabi niya, yan, natakpan Teka lang Ang sabi ni Buddy Angelo, paano po pag nag-file ng case laban sa akin ng rape? Pwede na ba ako ikulong nun kahit dinidinig pa lang ang kaso? Salamat po. God bless.
Okay. Hi, Angelo. That's a good question, because it covers one part of the major part of the rape law, anti-rape law. So, again, kanina we discussed that there are two types of rape. One is the under 266A paragraph 1, which is the traditional kind of rape, and yung can be committed by a man against a woman only. Tapos the other kind is the rape by sexual assault under 266A paragraph 2. So, yung dun sa first, the traditional type of rape, penalty kasi dyan ay parang kumbaga minimum na penalty dyan is reclusion perpetua, which is 40 years of imprisonment. And under the Constitution, hindi yung if the penalty is reclusion perpetua and the evidence of guilt is strong, hindi na matter of right ang bail. So, ang tanong mo, kung pwede, kahit dinidinig pa lang ang kaso, pwede ka na ba makulong? And I hope hindi ka talaga accused or rapist, hindi naman So, yung tanong dyan, ang sagot dyan is pwede. If you are accused of committing the crime of rape under the first paragraph, which is the traditional type, pag sumampa na yan sa korte, mag-issue ang court ng warrant of arrest even before the case starts. At pag na-arrest ka, then you cannot post a bail until you are acquitted. Although meron ding isang aspect dyan, like petition for bail, to show na hindi naman talaga malakas yung ebidensya, but I think that's a different topic altogether. Whereas there's a second type of rape, the one under paragraph 2, the non-traditional kind, the sexual assault, pwede ka pa rin magpiyansa niyan because the penalty there is prison mayor, and even with aggravating circumstances, it's reclusion temporal, which is available pa din. So, for example, meron ng case sa court, nag-issue ang court ng warrant of arrest. Pag nahuli ka, pwede ka nang magpiyansa, and the case will be tried with you not detained or outside of the detention facility.
Alright. Ayan malinaw yan, Buddy Angelo Ito, punta naman tayo kay Buddy Viner, Mindanao, Pasya. Good evening, attorney. Ask ko lang po if minor yung nag-commit ng rape. Then after the legal age of the offender, baka pa lamang po nag-complain ang victim. May liability pa din po ba kahit nung i-commit ang rape is less than 15 years old?
Okay. Sa ating law kasi, when ang nagma-matter is when the crime is committed. Hindi yung when the case is filed. So, ang batas natin is if the offender is below 15, tama ba, attorney?
Yes, below 15, less than 15.
Less than 15. So, walang criminal liability ang tao. So, kung halimbawa kasuhan siya when he is already 20 or 21, what will matter is the time or the period of the commission of the alleged crime, which is when he was below 15 years old. Therefore, there's no criminal liability there.
Okay, ayan Malinaw yan, Buddy Viner kasi nga meron tayong batas na Republic Act 9344 na inamyendahan ng Republic Act 10,630. Yan yung Comprehensive Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act na kung saan kapag yung bata ay 15 anyos o mas mababa pa, walang pananagutang kriminal. Pero hindi nangangahulugan na walang mangyayaring katarungan. Meron yung proseso na nakalagay sa ating batas at talaga namang tatalakayin yan sa ibang pagkakataon. Kasi medyo mahaba yan. Comprehensive nga Pero binibigyan ka lang ng, kumbaga, first aid answer ni Attorney Baby tungkol dyan sa tanong mo. Alright, so puntahan naman natin si Buddy Tantan, Platon, Masilungan. Ang sabi niya, magandang gabi po, attorney. Ano pong pinagkaiba ng qualified seduction at statutory rape bukod po sa sexual intercourse? Salamat, God bless.
Qualified seduction. Kailangan kong balikan yung knowledge ko dyan. Okay, paano pinagkaiba ng qualified seduction at statutory rape? Kapag first of all, yung statutory rape kasi is when the victim is below 12 years old, whether with consent or not. So kung it doesn't matter kung nag-yes to an intercourse, whether at kahit na walang force, walang intimidation, kahit na walang fraudulent machination, kahit na ano dun sa mga ibang circumstances when rape is committed. Basta the victim or the offended party is below 12 years old, that is rape. The premise is because at that age, hindi pa legally or actually intelligent enough yung tao to decide and give valid consent in terms of sexual intercourse. Ngayon, yung qualified seduction, correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Bahita, this is not below 12, no? I think this will not, the difference is the age. So, yung sa qualified seduction, hindi yan above 12 years old yan. Hindi ko lang makuha yung exact age at the moment. Kasi hindi yan bagay na nasa utak ko right away. So yun. So yan yung qualified seduction is when the person is said yes, walang force, walang intimidation, pero hindi siya kasi of legal age. But he is also not below 12 years old. So yan yung magtatalo tayo dun sa age. Ayan. So let me know
Tama
if
yun.
that's accurate. Kung hindi,
Tama
sorry.
yun, Attorney Baby. Sa ilalim ng Artikulo 337 ng Revised Penal Code Book 2, Body Tantan, nandiyan ang qualified seduction. At isa sa mga elemento niyan ay yung bata or yung biktima ay, sabi nga, virgin. Pangalawa, above 12 but under 18 years of age. At pangatlo, meron silang sexual intercourse. Pero ang isa pang importanteng elemento dyan sa qualified seduction, yung salarin or offender must be a person of public authority o kaya naman ay inabuse niya yung kanyang posisyon dahil let's say domestic. May sinasabi ang batas dyan na domestic o kaya guardian, teacher, yan ang mga usually na offender sa qualified seduction na hindi naman requirement pagdating sa statutory rape. Basta sa statutory rape, katulad nung tinalakay ni Attorney Baby kanina sa ilalim ng Artikulo 266-A ng ating Kodigo Penal, kapag ka yung bata ay mababa sa 12 taong gulang, papasok agad yan sa statutory rape. Ayan malinaw yan. Body Tantan, malinaw pa yan sa mineral water na iniinom mo. Okay, puntahan natin yung iba pang tanong, Attorney Baby. Ito si
Okay.
Buddy Yani. Ang sabi niya, paano po pag ang victim ay transgender? Aba, magandang tanong to na nag-underwent ng sexual reassignment. Tapos may unconsented penile penetration. Ano masasabi mo dyan, Attorney Baby?
Unconsented okay. So karoon na siya ng sex change, no? So ano na siya, meron na siya ng organ ng babae, tama ba? Yun ba yung tanong niya? Okay, I think yun yung tanong niya, no? So our gender kasi is defined by yung gender natin is kung ano yung nakalagay sa ating birth certificate. So, yan yung legal record natin as a person, which is registered in the Philippine Statistics Authority. So, kung ang nandoon ay ito, I think this is just my opinion kasi I think wala pa talagang case on this. So, kay Yani, just to let you know, no, ang pag wala tayong legal precedent, meaning wala pang mga case involving the certain facts that you painted for us, hindi pa natin talaga yan masasabi kasi it's the Supreme Court will have to have those very specific facts para maging siyang legal precedent or maging siyang doctrine or unless merong law na magsasabi na how to address that kind of circumstances. Pero in my opinion, since our legal record, which includes our gender, is in our birth certificate, and that's the basis of our existence as far as the government is concerned. Kung ano yung gender natin na nakalagay doon, yun yung magmamatter as far as what kind of rape is concerned. So kung lalaki siya, nagkaroon ng penile penetration, I think the vagina or yung kung ano man yung may sexual reassignment na. So that vagina will be considered as an orifice, and the penis, of course, the object entering that orifice. So papasok pa rin siya sa rape by sexual assault under the second kind, paragraph 2. That's my opinion.
Right. Ayan. Okay, ito si Buddy RJ Kabubas. Rape case po ba, attorney, is boys lang po ba ang pwedeng makasuhan or pati rin girls? Salamat po, attorney. Siguro, mabilis lang na sagot, Attorney Baby, kasi natalakay mo na to kanina.
Oo, yun. So, dun sa second kind, rape by sexual assault, as defined in Article 266A, Paragraph 2, pwedeng babae o lalaki ang offender, pwedeng babae o lalaki ang offended party.
Ayan, okay. Ngayon, puntahan ulit natin. Ito, Suke, si Angelo. kahit po wala bang batayan or tipong yung mga nangyayari sa movie na porke ayaw lang ng mga magulang nila sa lalaki?
Okay, okay. So ang tanong niya, walang batayan ang rape, ganon? Kahit po walang batayan. Okay, rape, just like any other cases, must be proven beyond reasonable doubt. So, yung kung batayan ang tinatanong mo, meaning walang evidence, of course, that will not fly in the court of law. Kahit na, even with the Maria Clara Doctrine, you're aware of that. That's a very famous case ng 2018 na sinabi na wala na yung Maria Clara Doctrine. But actually, hindi pa kasi hindi naman pala Supreme Court en banc yun, yung nag-decide nun. But the Maria Clara Doctrine means na a woman will not go out and say she was raped if indeed she was not raped, kasi hindi daw parang beyond the ordinary thinking ng Filipina ang i-risk ang kanyang honor or reputation. So kaya nagkakaroon ng parang presumption na kapag ang babae nagsabi ni rape siya, kahit na walang ibang batayan kundi yung kanyang salita, pwede na makulong ang isang tao. But with all due respect, no, doon sa may mga ganong opinion, for me, that's a misconception, because criminal courts will always apply the rules of court, the rules of criminal proceedings, especially the rules on testing the credibility, integrity of a witness before the testimonial evidence can be admitted and given weight. So, yung doon, pag tinatanong mo, pwede ba na kahit walang batayan ay makulong? Of course not. But pagdating sa court, you have to prove the person who is alleging, or yung taong nag-aakusa sa'yo, has the burden of proving that the crime actually existed or was committed, and that you, as the accused, are guilty of it. So it's still a matter of proving it by competent evidence and relevant evidence, of course.
Okay, ayan ha. Eto, sabi tuloy ni Buddy Francesca Melchor, oh, mukhang kilala mo to, Buddy Attorney Baby, oh. Ikaw na magbasa.
Okay, hello po. First time watching live po. I'm glad po, despite the busy schedule, you still have the time to share your knowledge for us. This live was being introduced by my Lola, Regina. Kilala mo po ata siya, Attorney Baby. God bless po. Yes, sa Pasig, one of the courts in Pasig. Hello, and hi again, Miss Regina.
Okay, ayan ha. Ito, meron pa dito eh. Natutuwa sila eh. Ayan, sabi pala ni Buddy Angelo, Attorney Baby.
Mhm.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Baby, sa napakalinis at pinong-pino na sagot. Talagang nahimay ng maayos yung mga sagot. Mabuhay po kayo. Ayan.
Thank you. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Okay.
Okay. Actually, ang dami pang tanong dito, Attorney Baby. Kaya lang inabot na tayo ng oras.
Oo nga.
Baka abutin tayo ng 12:00 ng hating gabi
Oo nga.
pagka binasa at sinagot natin lahat ng mga tanong dito.
Yeah.
Kaya siguro bilang pangwakas, ano yung masasabi mo sa ating mga taga-subaybay? Anong mensahe ang gusto mong iwan sa kanila bago tayo matulog ngayong gabi?
Okay. Rape is a very sensitive topic, especially for me, having handled several rape cases and knowing personally others, personal friends, people close to me who have been raped. So very touchy subject to sa akin. So siguro ang message ko, last message ko is, kung isang tao ka na nasa crossroads, and having that very few seconds of opportunity to decide whether to give in to the evil that is lust and to just walk away from committing the crime. Sana ang maging factor for you to consider is kahit na may possibility that you will be pardoned by the offended party, maraming processes to get through that. Hindi ibig sabihin na nabili mo yung biktima o kaya na natakot mo siya or kung anong nagawa mo for him or her to change his mind, na mawawala na lang yung problema. No, the criminal cases are very tricky. It's a crime against the state. that's why it's called People of the Philippines versus the accused. Dahil ang pinoprotektahan dyan ay ang taong bayan from people who have criminal minds or who are so barbaric na hindi sila maka-function in a civilized society. Pangalawa, even if you have all the money in the world to think na kaya mo, you can get away with it and just pay off everyone, makaka-encounter ka ng isang piskal na talagang hindi mo mabibili at isang husgado na nabubuhay para sa hustisya. So, wag mong hayaan na yung moment na you can still walk away from that crime, na ang maging consideration mo is, okay lang to, kaya ko tong lusutan later. Because you don't know, if ever justice is not done here, justice will always be served after life. So yan yung message ko.
Okay, so maraming salamat Attorney Baby sa pagbabahagi ng iyong karunungan at ng iyong oras dito sa ating programang Justice Body. Marami na naman tayong natutunan mga buddies, kaya lagi nating isa sa isip at isa sa puso ang payo ni Attorney Baby Perian R. Arcega para hanggat maaari ay hindi tayo matukso sa paggawa ng ganyang klaseng krimen dahil yan ay hindi kanais-nais na krimen sa ating bayan na nangyayari sa totoong buhay. Kaya yan po ang ating masasabi tungkol sa paksang ito.
Ito po ang inyong abang lingkod, Attorney Jeffrey B. Bahita na nagpapaalala, sundin natin ang batas at mabuhay tayo ng patas. Ito po ang inyong Justice Body.
Kung bago ka sa channel na ito, huwag kalimutang pindutin ang like, subscribe button, at notification bell para otomatiko kang maa-update sa mga latest videos na tiyak na makakatulong sa iyo. Nabitin ka ba sa ating talakayan? Panoorin mo ang iba pang videos ng ating Justice Body. Dahil ang sabi sa Kawikaan 13:20, ang nakikisama sa may unawa ay magiging matalino, ngunit ang kasama ng mangmang ay masusuong sa gulo.